Good morning, grads, parents, RJC students, and staff. It's so good to be celebrating this special day together, in person for some of us, with many others able to join virtually. For a long time, we all wondered if any kind of an in-person ceremony would be able to take place, and thankfully, here we are. We have it on good authority that in 2 years, none of you will be able to recall a single word we shared this morning. We shall, nevertheless, endeavor to share some thoughts that might resonate with you at least for a while. The American poet Mary Oliver offers these instructions for living a life, and I would add, for being educated. Pay attention, be astonished, tell about it. I want to suggest that during your time here at RJC, all of you have been encouraged to pay attention in so many different areas of life. Pay attention to the characters in Macbeth. Notice what a frog looks like when you dissect it. Let your curiosity kick in when you visit the Interpretive Center at Ancient Echoes. Pay attention to why your carefully constructed balloon car isn't actually moving. Notice how the paint colors blend in a painting in art class. Pay attention to how a baby, a toddler, a 4-year-old behave. Really listen to the voices singing beside you, behind you. Take note of what the dancer beside you is doing and move together. And you've been encouraged to focus your attention beyond your own learning and lives to the needs of the people and the world around you. You've been guided to notice that this world needs you and all your gifts and abilities, your creativity and energy. In this process of learning and exploring, I trust that there have been moments of being astonished. Times where you were filled up with wonder and amazement, points at which you had to stop and marvel at the beauty of the lesson or the concept coming at you. I hope that for each of you, there have been experiences that have given you the thrill of being alive. Tell about it. I would say that you have done a wonderful job of telling about things that you have paid attention to and been astonished by over the past 3 years. This has happened in a myriad of ways, like at the Christmas and spring concerts, where you have shared the music that you have mastered, or the musicals where you sang and danced and made a character come alive, or also projects where you expended effort to give back to the community and people around you in some way, or essays you wrote expounding on ideas that stretched your thinking or view of the world. We parents, and your other many supporters, have in our turn been astonished as we have seen your many accomplishments and efforts during these years you've spent at RJC. And I would encourage you to tell about it by continuing to pay attention and be astonished as you move on from this place. Whatever you do in the next chapters of your life, find ways to really notice what is around you, to get excited about what is and what can be, and to share those experiences with the people around you. In the work I do as a school counselor, I often encourage students to take the time to consider and name things they are grateful for, as well as things they are looking forward to. Look back to notice and acknowledge whatever privileges and opportunities for growth and fun we have been given. Look ahead to what's coming down the road, to the learning and exploring and imagining and giving back yet to come. These are the recipe for happiness and hopefulness. You are so fortunate to have spent some time in this place. I hope that during this time of reflecting on leaving it, you are all able to take a moment or more to pay attention to the things you personally are grateful for from this place and the people who make it. And as you proceed to the next chapter and beyond, I hope you carry with you and pay attention to the foundational values that the RJC community has tried to embody, including the importance of being a force for good in the world, for caring and supporting and understanding and building one another up. Qualities that will be in great demand in the context of challenges that will inevitably be part of your next chapters. The big picture challenges like the truth and reconciliation process and climate change, but also everyday challenges like how do I treat my friends and family? What post-secondary courses should I take? What do I say when I disagree with beliefs or opinions expressed by others? The guidance given to you by the teachings of this place and modeled by the amazing adults who have taught and fed and played with and inspired you will certainly help you navigate what lies ahead. We as parents are so grateful that they have been part of your lives to mentor and guide you.
When Sandi and I were asked to give the parental reflection this morning, one of the questions we asked ourselves was who exactly this would be for, who we should direct it towards. So while Sandi has directed her thoughts toward the graduates, I'm going to direct a few thoughts to the parents of the grads as we see our kids head out to explore the next stage of life after high school. For some of us, this is our first child graduating from high school. For some of us, sorry, I guess I wasn't going to embarrass you, but apparently that's too late. For some of it is our last. Whichever it is, and for all the range of emotions it entails, I think what we all have in common are questions about what lies ahead. How will our child find their way in the world? What will they do? Will they be safe? Will they be happy? Will they wash their bedding? Will they miss us? And most importantly, will they be loved as well as we have loved them? Sorry, this was supposed to be Sandi doing this. We had agreed about that earlier. So what is our consolation in all these questions in this moment in time for which we have no answers? I think our consolation is our children themselves, this group of graduates here on the stage, this awesome collection of young adults that we love and cherish and of whom we are so immensely proud. And here I would like to inject another quote from Mary Oliver. There are so many stories more beautiful than answers. These, and I'm referring to this group here on the stage, are the beautiful stories that we have watched unfold over the past 2 decades. These are the stories that we have helped to create. These are the stories that have evolved and grown in time at RJC and through a period of unprecedented interruption globally in their extended families and in their RJC community. These are the sometimes hard, sometimes challenging, but most often joyful, beautiful stories that are blossoming and flourishing and growing into even greater stories. When I think of this generation, these graduates, our children, and who they have become and are continually becoming, I am so humbled and I am so proud. This, I think, is the generation that has outshone ours when it comes to love and acceptance. They are the generation that does not intrinsically question and mistrust differences that the generations before us did, and as some of our own generation still does. They are far more readily and naturally able to embrace and accept one another regardless of race or culture, life choices, faith choices, sexual orientation, economic status, education, accomplishments. For me, this is the generation that fills me with so much hope and a strong belief that they will push the agenda forward towards a better humanity just by being who they are and how they live and how they embrace what many of us think of as different when in reality it is just so very normal. We can take great consolation and comfort in the story of who they are. As parents of this exceptional collection of people, we are proud, and we are anxious and confident and a bit emotional and likely a tiny bit embarrassing in our fussing sentimentality, and yet we don't even care if our kids are embarrassed, and even secretly delight in it a little bit. And for all the unknowns before us and before them, we can take assurance in their ability to create and embrace community beyond RJC, beyond our homes, beyond our churches, or wherever else we find community. And if they have community, wherever that might be, if they are not alone, then they will be fine, as will we. I'm excited for our kids and what the coming years might have in store for them. But it's hard as a parent not to mourn the passing of the last 17 or 18 years. It's hard not to look back with some regret, wondering if we should have done some things differently, and it's hard not to look ahead and sometimes feel anxious and worried about an unknown future. So this is a reminder for us all to not always be looking back and to not always be looking ahead, to stop and focus on this day, on this moment, on these grads, our children, and acknowledge that we are indeed very lucky. Or as Mary Oliver says, sometimes I only need to stand where I am to be blessed. You guys have had quite the year, and you have risen to the challenges it presented and created a story within it that will be both memorable and will be lasting. And we, your parents, are so incredibly proud of you and thankful and blessed. Have an awesome, fun day, because you deserve every minute of it.